Greetings to everybody out there. Thanks for tuning in. It's Wednesday, October the 31st, and again, this vlog is to keep my family, friends, all the people that love Henny, myself, and Ahava, keep you guys abreast of what's going on with us in terms of our fight to beat and conquer retinoblastoma, this eye tumor that we just found out about roughly going on 2 weeks now. Um, Today we just ended a super long day, and I'll make this one relatively brief, hopefully. And but I did want to start with yesterday. Yesterday was our first day of chemotherapy, and it was a really long day. Went to the hospital at about 7:15 in the morning. Got up at about 5. Got to the hospital around 7:15 in the morning. Um, Went through all the vital signs and checked in with hospital staff. Spoke to some doctors for a while, and then it was about getting an IV into Ahava, and which was an experience. And they were having some trouble with the IV, getting the IV. The IV is the way that they were going to administer the chemotherapy drugs. So after 2 tries, finally got it in. But obviously, with her being so young, she didn't really like that, and that was definitely tough going through that process. And they administered 3 drugs. Please don't ask me the name of those drugs. I have to write those down and get those back to you. But they administered 3 drugs. It took about 3.5 hours for those drugs to be administered because they are going intravenously, and it just takes time for them to drip through. And that was pretty much the gist of that day, basically. It was just getting there super early and getting all set up and talking to doctors and just getting those IV drugs administered, and just a quick little follow-up conversation after about what we want to do overnight. And what I mean by that is because the chemo needs to be administered for 2 days straight, the idea was we don't want to have to stick her twice, basically. So they kept the IV in and put like kind of a mini cast. It's called a no-no, where they keep the IV in, but they protect it with kind of a mini cast so that we could take her home. And showed me how to do what's called a flush, where you basically flush the IV with a sodium solution. And I did that twice overnight, something I had to do every 8 hours. And so we did that, and then got up again this morning pretty early, got to the hospital for her second round of chemo, or at least that's what was supposed to happen. And we got there, did the vital signs and everything like that, and went to do the IV again. And we experienced this before, but we kind of thought that it was handled. But they were having trouble finding her veins to put the IV in. Basically, her arms are a little chunky. She's a fat little baby, but her arms are a little chunky, and her veins are really small, so it was kind of hard to find. They describe it as trying to put a needle through a piece of spaghetti, basically, and maybe even smaller than that. So, they had one team come in and try it, and then they had another team come in and try it, and, basically, and obviously, Ava is like not liking this at all. Let me just say that, and the team is basically trying their best, but at this point, and this is why my mood is a little bit off today. But at this point, I'm like pissed because she's upset, she's crying, she's going through the whole thing, and I'm trying to comfort her, and there's really nothing that I can do other than watch. So at a certain point, I'm just like, hey guys, this isn't working. So what's the next step? Let's find out what we can do other than just keep trying to find a vein and not being successful with it. So they go out, and another person comes in, another staff comes in, and they get the doctor on the phone, and we had this long conversation about different types of options. Um, and that conversation was pretty long. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but basically, there's two other options because they basically were not successful. So to make a long story short, we didn't even have the second round of chemo done today, which they weren't really concerned about because the way it was explained is that she received the majority of her drug yesterday, so there wasn't like any concern in terms of her not getting the full dosage of the third drug today. So I needed to kind of hear. We needed to hear that, and there's another option as far as administering a drug. It's called I'm blanking out right now, but I want to say it's called a pick. And with a pick, you put that in something that you insert for a couple of days, and you go through the procedure. The other option, which she's not ready for because she's so young, is called a port, and the port is something that they keep in for 6 months, and it's a direct line to be able to administer the drugs. So, you know, there's a bunch of pros and cons around that. Obviously, with inserting anything into your body, there's the possibility of infections and things like that that may happen or may occur. Yeah, it's hot down here. Plus, I'm still, yeah. So there's the possibility, basically, of some type of a bacteria forming. So it's something that we'll cross that bridge kind of when we get there, basically. But the immediate plan is to go back tomorrow morning again. And there's a supervisor who basically is really good essentially at these IVs, and she got it done really quickly for us yesterday. At least she was the one who got it done the second time. So we're going to try that again so that we can administer that last round of the third drug tomorrow. If that doesn't work, we have an appointment with the doctor on Tuesday to review her MRI results thoroughly, but also to further discuss this pick option. I think I'm actually misspeaking, but it's called a pick. I'll correct myself later if I need to. The pick and the port option. We'll discuss that and kind of move forward from there. So today, please excuse me, but today was just like a super long day. I'm tired. She's fussy. It's just been crazy. But I did want to share with you. I did want to share. Hey, mommy. I did want to share with you guys. My wife asked me if I wanted to because she knew I was upset. I was like, it's a part of the journey, so I'm gonna keep you guys involved. Yeah, I know. Everybody's upset. All right. So yeah, it's time for me to finish. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up because I'm being told that it's time to end this. But just wanted to keep you guys posted. We'll get through it. And again, the goal of this is to help out families in the future as they see us go through this, and hopefully we can provide some education so that the awareness is heightened in terms of retinoblastoma and things that you might want to look out for. So trustfully, this next video will be a little bit more pleasant. But for now, I'm going to say peace to you guys, and see you next time.